pricing yourself as a freelancer or a creative or someone who just works for themselves in general is honestly one of the hardest things you can do, because either you can undervalue yourself and feel like you're burnt out, you're working too hard, you're making no money, or you can try and charge too much and then people don't want to work with you. So it is the hardest balancing act, especially when you first begin. And I'm going to tell you today a little bit how you can go about that process, a little bit of what I did and a little bit of what you can do, so that hopefully you can make some bank and not have to work too much. My name's Eden, and I currently own a company called Borean Studios with my girlfriend, and we create products and templates and resources for creatives and freelancers to be able to work for themselves and actually do cool stuff. And back in the day, when I say back in the day, maybe 12 months ago, I used to also work with clients and do branding and projects and freelance myself. So I definitely have experience in it, and I'm gonna show you today and help you today so that you don't have the same issues as me when I first started, because pricing is a cornerstone in your business and you don't want to fuck it up. When I first started, this is way back, let's say maybe 8 years ago, when I first started freelancing, I remember I would do things hourly and I would price myself hourly. So someone would be like, hey, can you make me a logo? I'll be like, yeah, that's $20 an hour. And if you think about it, it doesn't really make sense. So let's say I create the logo in 10 minutes. Let's say I create the logo in 1 hour and I only get paid $20 because I'm really good at what I'm doing. Does that mean I should be paid less? Or on the contrary, let's say it takes me 24 hours to make the logo, so I get paid whatever, $480, but the logo is worse because I'm not as efficient at what I'm doing. Does that mean that I deserve to be paid more? No. The correct answer is no. So you have to really be careful with this, because time does not equal value, and the way you can scale your business and the way for you to actually make more money for the amount of time that you're working is not by charging hourly. This comes into play when you're actually talking with your clients or your leads or whoever you're trying to sell your services to, is by you providing value. And if you say to them, you have to talk to them about what problems you're solving, what solutions you're giving them, and what the actual long-term outcome is. So when you're having a call with them, when you're having a sit down, whatever it is, make sure you're painting that big picture so that they know what they're paying you is going to give them value in the future. But if you're just like, oh, your logo, like let's say you're making a logo. If you're like, oh, your logo is just going to be this little picture that you do, you're not providing, you're not adding any weight to that. You've got to persuade them. You've got to psychologically tell them, be like, this is going to be the thing that people know about your brand, the thing that people recognize, the thing that people come back to over and over, because it is a crucial element of your business. That's what you have to do. You have to try and, I don't want to say manipulate them, but you have to kind of fucking manipulate them. You have to get them in. Back to when I first started, I would do hourly rate, and then I would eventually move on to more project based. So let's say there's another theoretical situation. Someone's like, can I get a logo? I'll be like, yeah, it's $200. Or yeah, that's $50 or whatever. And yeah, that's fine. But just doing a logo or just doing one thing is not necessarily the best thing. So the next tier I would recommend is doing large scope project base. So project base is good because you can add value. It doesn't matter if you can finish it in 5 minutes or 50 hours. It doesn't matter. You want to be able to do it as quick as possible so that you can get the most amount of money per hour. And you never want to charge hourly. You never want to tell your client how much you charge per hour, and you never want to charge per hour. It's crucial. And something you want to do, let's say you want to do a logo, but then you also want to do the full brand identity, you want to do packaging, you want to do everything. You want to put that all in the scope and outline that to them in the pricing structure. Be like, all right, you have this, and this is going to be the total. That way that if they come back to you, they're like, we can't afford it, or that's out of our budget, whatever, just remove something from the scope. That way you can decrease the price a little bit, but still get them on the sale. It's just all about that juggling act, but try and add as much value so they're like, whoa, I'm getting all that stuff for this price. What? That's too hard to say no. But I know you're probably thinking, when you're doing this sort of stuff, it gets scary, because if the client says it's too expensive, what if the client says, I don't feel like it's worth it? These are all things that are going to happen in sales calls and whatever, and you're going to have to deal with it. What I said before, removing stuff from the scope is great. Never just give a discount just for the sake of it. You have to have reasoning for decreasing the price or reasoning for adjusting the scope. Don't just do it to devalue yourself. Early on, yes, early on you'll have to take some discounts. You'll have to price yourself low, and everyone does that. When I first started by myself especially, I would just charge absolutely nothing just to get a folio workup, to get experience, and just to be able to keep progressing up. And that's part of it. You know, you're not going to be able to charge $20,000 or whatever for a brand identity as your first ever work, because A, you're not going to be good enough. It's that simple. The work you create is not going to be good enough, and you have to practice and get better. There's no point trying to have a big ego when you first start, because no one's going to give a fuck and no one's going to work with you. So just don't do it. One thing that I've noticed in recent times is when we have been contracting freelancers or getting people to do some work for us just on like a project base or whatever, sometimes they come to us and they'll be like, I want to charge you per hour. And I'm like, well, no, because the client doesn't like it. If I'm the client and you're like, I'm going to create you a logo and I'm going to charge you $20 per hour, I don't know if that's going to cost me $20. I don't know if that's going to cost me $2,000, and I don't like that. So I'm not going to agree with that. And A, should not be saying how much you're worth per hour, because as I said earlier, your value is not based on your time, it's based on the work that you can create. And what you want to do, if say I'm getting someone to create some graphics for me or whatever, edit a video, I want to know how much it's going to cost black and white. Because as a business owner, I've got to run my numbers, I've got to know how much I'm spending on things. And you need to be saying your value through the price, not just an hourly, because an hourly is not going to provide you with any freedom to scale your business and any freedom to make more money. So what you can do is you can work out your hourly, okay? First thing you want to do is work out your hourly. So you want to look at your living expenses, your business expenses, how much you want to work each week, how much holidays you want to have, and you want to put this all together, and that'll give you a number. And then you want to add money on top of that. So obviously that's going to be your living expenses covered and then the profit. And now that's how much money you need to make per hour to survive, right? Maybe make a little bit extra money. And then what you want to do is you want to, let's say you're doing a project base, you want to work out how long you think that's going to take you, and then charge those amount of hours by your hourly rate. And then from there, if you think that's not enough, you feel like that's not enough, or you think you can charge the client more, add some sauce on top. There's no harm in adding a bit of extra sauce, okay? Sometimes you have to take risks. 9 times out of 10, if the person you're working with, or the business owner or whatever, is a good business owner, they will negotiate. If you don't negotiate, they will negotiate. They'll ask for a discount. If they actually believe that you can do the work well and you can fulfill their problems, you can solve their problems and fulfill whatever needs to be done, they will find a workaround. As someone who is always negotiating and always asking for discounts and always just making sure the best price for everyone is involved, I believe that give them a high price. People will come back. As you know, not necessarily the best trade, but I'll always be like, can you do a better price? It doesn't matter what it is. Like fucking Airbnb places, there's always wiggle room, and that's for both parties. And that's not just for the owner, and that's not just for the freelancer. So we actually created a free calculator to work out your hourly rate, and it's just a Notion template. I'll put the link in the bio. Go check it out, run your numbers through that, and then at the bottom you can also create packages. So let's say you have brand identity package 1 or film content package 1. Put your numbers in and make sure you're solid, and then just keep practicing. And over time you better increase your pricing and you'll get more confident with sales. And it's just something that evolves over and over. You're not going to be a 10K dog from day 1, okay? But after day 5, day 10, year 2, year 3, you'll be a dog. So I hope that helps. I know it was a bit of a ramble. I hope that helps. I'm currently in Vietnam. We've actually come over. We're trying to get our visas to stay in Thailand. So we had to leave the country. We're going to do some shopping, film some videos. We're in a new place, traveling to get some coffee. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.